So in last class, we discussed about the string builder. Yeah. So because when it comes to string, the concern with the string is when it comes to string property, string objects are immutable. But if a real-time requirement is to modify something each and every time, then if we try to modify the existing string, then multiple new objects will be created. So which is the memory consumption. It means the strings are not meant for modification because more modifications, what will happen? More new objects, more modifications. Already we have written that multiple new objects will be created. Then indirectly what? More memory consumption also. More memory consumption also. So for this reason, then are the string is bad? No, understanding of a string by programmer should be in such a way that if requirements are not meant for modification, then we have to use the strings. Strings are not meant for modification. Yeah. Then I want to modify. Then in that scenario, what to do? We have to go for an alternate concept that is a string builder. It's a predefined class. It's present in java.lang package. And when it comes to properties, string builder objects are mutable. String is immutable. That's why we come up with a solution called as string builders, which are mutable means modifiable or changeable. The one more property is string builder objects are not synchronized for multiple threads. So what is this synchronized? What is this thread and all? We will discuss more clearly in threads concept. But at the end of this string builder and one more concept is there. There I'll convince you what is the meaning of synchronized or not synchronized. Okay, but not a Java example. With real life examples, I'll just make you understand. Then, so when it comes to string builder object, for string we can declare in two different ways without using new keyword, by using new keyword. But when it comes to string builder, we can declare only with one approach, that is the object approach. Yeah, so there is no without new keyword approach for string builder. So in that scenario, whenever we declare a string builder object and when we don't pass any value here, so then that's called as a empty string builder object. When a programmer create empty string builder object and when JVM execute this line of code, by default, a string builder object will be coming up with a capacity of 16 empty cells. Like string is internally character array, string builder also internally a character array. String builder, one more property I'm adding, string builder is internally a character array. That's why these cells will be indexed from 0 since there are 16 cells but count indexing is 0, therefore last will be 15. Then on strings we have a predefined method called length method to get the number of characters of a string value. Similarly, string builder also has one method called length method, which also means the number of characters of a string builder object. Then since it is empty, then that length will become 0. And for string builder, it will come up with a capacity is one more method, which is nothing but the number of total cells, not empty cells, total cells. So which is by default, 16 is a default. Yeah. Here shall I give one question? Why string builder default capacity is 16? If you get the answer for this, okay, your Java is done. Try to get the answer for this. Any official source answer only I want, not my friend said and all those things. Okay. Yeah. So this is one approach with no value. The other approach is at the time of declaration of string builder object itself, we can pass a string builder value, which is like a string only in double quotes. So in this example, say Java. Then if we pass, what will happen in the memory? So by default, 16 will be there because of the new string builder object. Then 4 more cells will be added. At the time of declaration, if we give some value, then 16 plus those new cells will be added. So therefore, 16 plus 4 more characters, that's 20, which is indexed from 0 to 19. Then where this value will be added? Is it from 16th position? No, it is always from first empty cell onwards. If it is not empty, then the next empty cell onwards will be added, but not in the 16th position. So that's why VA will be occupied with 0, 1, 2, 3 indexes only. So then now if you print length, so since it's a 4 character value, 4 is the length, and if you print the capacity, 20 is the capacity. There is a significant difference. Because of this, most of us will go wrong. So we will say capacity is 16 only. No, at the time of declaration, if you give a value, then 16 plus those many characters is the capacity. Then if we go for empty string builder object once again, so we already know that it is from 0 to 15 only. Now, is it possible to modify this string builder object? Yes, it is possible to modify. For strings, how to modify? If at all you want to modify a string, if you remember, we have taken something called as empty string first. Then to this empty string, we are adding something called as characters. Yes or no? Some new characters, say Java, if you want to print reverse order and all those things, we discussed that. We are adding one more thing here. So what is the operator we are using? Plus symbol, which is nothing but concat, is one method which is available on strings in Java. Concat is one method which is available on strings to modify the string. But then can we use same concat for string builder to modify? No. String builder has a method called as append is a method. To add another string to the existing string builder object, append is a method. Concat will not work for string builder. Append will not work for string. It's a difference. We have to remember this. Okay. So then once we append this one by using this append method, then we get the output as Java, and we can append one more time, because what is my point is, what is a growth factor concept? Since 16 cells are there, we can add a 4 character value. And since remaining some more cells are there, we can add more 6 letters. And we get the value. But if we try to add the number of characters with a value which is more than the available, then what will happen? So in that scenario, as a programmer, we have to do nothing. Then JVM will internally implement a concept called as growth factor. So this is one interview question. What is string builder's growth factor formula? It is current capacity into 2 plus 2 is the new capacity of a string builder. When that will be implemented? When the space is not enough to append a new value, then only, not every time. Then that is current capacity is 16 and into 2 is 32 plus 2 is 34 is the new capacity. Before JVM appends this value, first capacity will be increased in the memory up to 34, which is indexed from 0 to 33 only. So then the value will be appended and we can see the value of the output. And we can print the capacity every scenario. We can print the length also every scenario. According to, we will get it. We already executed this in Eclipse as well. Then I gave some practice questions. So then let us see the some more properties about this string builder. When it comes to the differences, what is the difference between double equals to operator and what's the method? Equals method. So what is the purpose of it? When we are discussing about the same concept on string objects, what's the purpose? Double equals will do comparison of, this will compare, double equals operator will compare address, and equals method will do what? It will compare the content. So when this is used on strings only, but if we use them on string builder, so this already we discussed. Yeah, I'm not going with examples, but for string builder I'll take an example. That is, say string builder, S and B capital, it's a class name, Pascal naming standards. SB1 equals new string builder of My object is Java, all capital letters, no space before and after. This is first string builder object. Then what's the approach? Only one approach. That's why string builder SB2 is also equals new string builder of again same Java only. Yeah. So with this, if we go for the comparison, so what is that? System.out.println compare what? SB1 double equals SB2. We are using a double equal operator on two string builder objects to compare. Then similarly, system.out.println print of SB1 dot equals of SB2. So assume that we are writing this inside a main method. So when JVM execute this code, first of all, compiler will accept, is it syntactically correct or any errors? Do we have equals method on string builder also? Or it's only there for string? The answer is it is there for both. So therefore, syntactically, everything is right in this code. Yeah. So now, can you please tell me what's output of this line and what's output of this line? First one is false because, okay, no, because I don't want. So you are saying false. Okay, so first one is false. Second, what is your prediction of second one? Come on. It's also false. Why? Because content is same or not same? Same only. Then what's the purpose of equals method? So what's the answer? Okay. So here, so when it comes to the string builder, this is correct. This is incorrect. This is also false and is only the correct answer. Why? Why? Because when it comes to new, a new object will be created or same object will be reused. Every scenario, new will create a new object. Therefore, for each object, the address is same or different. Different. Address is different only for every object, right? Then what's the purpose of double equals operator? Which compares the addresses. So obviously the address, okay, for example, if I take RAM, when JVM execute this first line of code, what will happen? In heap memory, because of new keyword, one object will be created with address called as say sample 0x100. What's the value? Java in a character array format. Correct? So 0 to 16 and all those things story we know that, but it will be stored with first four only. Remaining will be empty. Then second one more new objects. Okay, left hand side in stack SB1 with address of 0x100 that it is pointed to this location. What about second line of code? So since again new keyword, one more new object with a different address say 0x200 with the same value called Java with the cells of 0 to 16. So it's the last index is 15 here. Here also the same thing. Yeah, that story we know. Now left hand side SB2 will have a address 200 and pointed to this location. Then JVM comes to line 1, line 2 is done, then line 3. Double equals will do what? Comparison of address. The address is same? No, therefore false. Then SB2 dot equals will do what? Content. Content is same, but I'm saying false. But I'm saying it is false. What's reason behind this is, so here, when it comes to string, this is the story. What is that? Double equals will compare the address. Equals will compare the content. And when it comes to string builder, the reason is when it comes to double equals operator or when it comes to equals method, both will compare address only. Yeah, it is not possible directly to compare the content. So even though equals method is meant for comparison of address, so still the address is different, then why we'll get a true? We'll get false only. So this is one more difference between string and string builder. Append method, concat method. Mutability, immutability. Comparison, differences. Yeah. First we'll execute this, then I'll give you the difference in terms of notes. So for this, we have a string project. Inside this, in one of our previous packages, let me create a string builder demo is there. I'll use this file only. So inside this, there are too many previous class executions. I'll comment all. I comment all this code. Yeah, so then followed by, so here I'll write a new lines of code. What is that? String builder SB1 equals new control space string builder. Then here the content is Java. Then I'll copy the next line. I'll paste it and I'll change this to SB2. That's all. Then followed by, I use a print function, and here to compare, I'm using double equals operator with SB1 and SB2. I save the code. I execute by control F11. What's our prediction? False. Then followed by, next again I use a print function, and here SB1 dot equals. Is the method is there? Yes or no? Yes. IntelliSense is showing it is there, and syntactically also it is right. It is available. But now what is that we expect? We expect this to give a true. But by assuming comparison of content for equals method, now observe, I execute this one. What do we got? False only. It means equals method is not meant for content comparison of string builder. It is only meant for comparison of content comparison for a string. There is a difference. Clear? So if you want to know why actually there is a class called as object class in Java. We don't know as of now, just remember. In this object class, most commonly used methods were defined. Inside this object class, most commonly used methods were defined. Methods were defined in this object class. One of such method is a equals method. One of such method is equals method. What's the purpose of this equals method in object class? To compare address only. To compare address only. But there is a class, one more class called as a string class. What this string class did is, so here if I use some parent and child, no confusions. So object class is a parent class of this string class. It's a parent. It's a child. So in child class, the same method is reused. Same method is reused with some public static void and all those things. Syntax is there. The same method is reused, but they change the logic. They change the logic. What is the original purpose? Compare the addresses. But they change the logic. They change the logic to what? To compare content. To compare content. To compare content. That's why when we use this equals method on string, it will compare the content. Yeah. Then there is one more class called as a string builder class. String builder class. In this class also, they have used the same equals method, which is there in the object class. It is also used in this string builder class also. It is also child class. Object is a parent, string builder is a child class. In this also equals method is used, but what did they do? They did not change anything. Didn't change the logic. Then what's the original purpose? Comparing of address only. So when they are using it, when they did not change the logic, then what it will do? it will compare the address only. That's why when we use it on string, it will compare the content. When we use it on string builder, it will compare the address only. Yeah. So since string also predefined class, Java people have defined the code already. String builder also predefined class. Java developers have written the code. Only we have to use it. But while using, this is the difference we have to remember. Understood? Yeah. So then, so this is one common interview question. If being a fresher, what is the difference between string and string builder? The difference between string and string builder. So what the first difference? String is mutable or immutable? String objects are immutable. String objects are immutable. What about string builder? Yes, I am writing SB short form. SB objects are mutable. The next difference, where this string objects will be stored? Yeah, so depends on programmer logic. Means with new keyword, without new keyword. Depends on programmer logic. String objects. String objects will be stored where? Either in string constant pool or heap memory. But what about this? So here SB objects, since only one approach to create by using a new keyword, so string objects, string builder objects will be stored in heap memory only. Yeah. The next third one, string objects are dynamically groupable. No, string objects are not dynamically groupable. Dynamically groupable means in the same place will it be modified or not? No, that's already immutable and mutable property. The next one, so here double equals operator is meant for address comparison on strings, and equals method is meant for content comparison on string. But when it comes to string builder, double equals operator and equals method both are meant for address comparison only. That's next difference. Then followed by, so which method? Use concat method or plus operator, both are same only, to modify string. We can modify but not recommended. But here which method? So use append method. Use append method for modification of string builder objects. Here string objects. So these are some differences between the string and string builder. So remember, being a fresher, you can expect this question. These points about string, these points about string builder. Clear? Yeah. Then for string builders, we have seen one drawback. What is that? String builder objects are not synchronized for multiple threads, is what we have seen. Then here, to have a solution for that, to have a solution for that, the next concept which we have is string buffer. String buffer with again S and B are capitals. What is this string buffer? String buffer is also a predefined class. predefined class. Then it is present in which package? A string buffer is present in java.lang package. What's the difference then? Properties, when it comes to properties. String buffer. String buffer is exactly same as string builder. There is no difference. Exactly the same as string builder. When there is no difference, then why we should have one more? Except what is it? String buffer objects are synchronized for multiple threads. String buffer objects are synchronized. So string builder is not synchronized. String buffer are synchronized for multiple threads. Multiple threads. That's the only difference. Yeah. So then what about growth capacity, length? Same as string builder. What about growth factor? Same as string builder. Yeah. What about append method? Same as string builder. What about equals and uh, double equals operator? Same as string builder only. There is only one difference between string builder and string buffer is called as string builder is not synchronized for multiple threads. String buffer is synchronized for multiple threads. So because of this, one more internal difference comes. That is string builder objects are faster in execution. Faster in execution, but not thread safe. But not thread safe because they are not synchronized for multiple threads. That's why not thread safe. But when it comes to string buffer objects are faster or slower? Are slower in execution, but thread safe. Yeah. So this is the last topic of the basic coding classes. Then here I said, I'll convince you what is the difference between this is thread synchronized and not synchronized. So for that, let me take two real life examples. To start with, the first example is assume there is a lift. This is one lift. So where the floors numbers are, say first floor, okay, ground floor, then first floor, second, like this. Some floors are there. Yeah. So then currently in this building or apartment, there is a lift which is present at third floor. In third floor, currently so this is one building or apartment. So this red color is nothing but currently lift. Lift is where it is in third floor. Yeah. Now at the same time, at the same fraction of second, the person who is there in this sixth floor and also the person who is there in this zero floor are pressing the lift. They are pressing the left. They want to access the lift exactly at the same time. Where it will go? Will the lift comes to 0 or will the lift goes to 6? Why? Because you are there in the sixth floor. Then it is resting at third floor. It's not moving. Then all of a sudden, at the same time, these two have people have pressed at the same time. Then where it will go? Is it accessible to sixth floor person or is it accessible to zero floor person? Sixth floor. Why? Same thing. Same thing, no? No, that's not the case. So here it depends on the lift object is based on what? Is it thread safe or not thread safe? Is it synchronized for threads or not threads? That's how it works. Even real time also it's the same thing only. So in this scenario, assume that the lift is made up of string builder, string builder, which is synchronized for multiple threads or not synchronized. String builder is not synchronized for multiple threads. Then what is a thread? Accessing this lift, doing some separate task of accessing this list by accessing this lift by this person is called as a thread. Sixth floor person pressing that lift button is a simple task or independent task. That's called as one thread. So let me call thread one. 0th floor person using that lift, pressing that lift button is nothing but one more thread. This is a thread two. Thread is a simple independent task. That's all. Yeah. So that's a two threads are trying to access the same string builder object at the same time. Yeah. Then is it synchronized for multiple threads? Not synchronized for multiple threads. In such scenario, if at a different time sixth person is pressing, then it will go to sixth floor. And different time if 0th floor person is pressing, then it will go to 0th person only. But since it is equal distance from them, when both are trying to access, even though it's not equal distance, so when both are trying to access at the same time, then this lift will not go to sixth, this will not go to 0th floor also. It will stay there only. Yeah. And after 1 second, assume that there is a fourth floor person is pressing the lift. Then lift will go to fourth floor. It will not go to sixth floor. It will not go to 0th floor. Yeah, it is because of string builder. It is not synchronized for multiple threads. No thread can access at the same time. At the same time. That's what the meaning of a not synchronized for multiple threads. Understood? Now, the same scenario. The same scenario. This time the lift object is made up of string buffer concept. String buffer. Is it synchronized or not synchronized? Synchronized. Therefore, internally, JVM will decide because of some internal algorithms, JVM will decide that which thread has to access. It may be thread 1 or it may be thread 2. That is 6th floor person or 0th floor person. So when assume, for example, or assume if thread 1 got the access, then what thread has to do? Thread 2 should be in the queue. It has to wait. This is an example of what is the meaning of a synchronized or not synchronized. Not synchronized, none of them get the access. That's why it's called as a deadlock situation. Deadlock, nobody can access. But if it is synchronized, one will get the chance, another one will wait in the queue. Then how that will be, who will get the first chance? It's JVM will take a call. Yeah. So that story you'll understand in threads concept at this point of time. This much only I can convince you. Any questions? No. Okay. Then I'll give you one more example. Assume there is a bank called some bank name HDFC. And in this, there is a person who has the account in this bank. So the requirement is this person wants to withdraw some money. Assume that in one person's bank account, there is some money called 10,000 is available. Now this person is in need of money, emergency. What he tries to do is this person will give his debit card to one of his relative or friend and asking that person to go to HDFC ATM. Yeah. So then this person came to ATM. At the same time, this person also wants to try. So he's visiting the branch. Yeah. So at the same time, at the same fraction of second, he is trying to perform the withdrawal, and he is also trying to perform the withdrawal of 10,000. Both will get 10,000? No. Then banks will be always in bankruptcy. Yes or no? So it is because, assume that in first scenario, if this bank account object is made up of a string builder, what will happen? It will become a deadlock. It will become deadlock means what? Not the account person can get the access, not the ATM person also can get the access. Both of them will get. So this person will get that already this account is in use. This person also will get that already this account is in use. But who will get? Nobody will get. That's a deadlock situation. But is it right scenario? Is that the bank will operate? No. So then what has to happen when the similar situation comes? Assume that if this bank object is made up of a string buffer, string buffer, then what this thread 1 is trying to access and thread 2 also trying to access at the same time. Then what JVM will do? JVM will give, so JVM will prioritize only one. Yeah, so assume that thread 1. Then by the time thread 1 doing its task, what thread 2 has to do? Thread 1 will get the permission, thread 2 has to wait in the queue. Then when thread 1 is doing the task, what should happen? So he is withdrawing the money of 10,000. Then what is the updated balance? 0. So because thread 1 is withdrawing 10,000, then balance has to be updated. Till this transaction completes, the object will be in the lock situation. Locking technique will be there. There is a technique called as locking technique. For example, if somebody got the access or thread 1 got the access, the object will be locked until the thread completes the task or transaction. Yeah. So after this, okay, this person is withdrawal and that is over. Then who will get the access? Thread 2 will get the access. What this person also will trying to withdraw for 10,000. What he'll get? No sufficient balance. Yeah, so this is the actual scenario. Understood? So when somebody is already using a object, when one thread is using the object already, which is of string buffer type, then that situation will be locked. Then until unless that person, that thread task is over, then thread will be locked. That's called as a locking technique. Applying locking technique is a synchronization. No locking technique, but deadlock situation is a not synchronized situation. One for string builder, no locking. One for string buffer, there is a proper locking technique. Understood? So quickly, one more example. So assume there is a bank in which there is a gold locker is there. Gold locker is there. There is thread 1 or person 1. Okay, T1 for thread 1. There is a thread 2 called person 2. Both of them, they have a gold locker account in this bank. Yeah. So then, does the bank people will allow both of them into the room? No. So they will prioritize because of their time and request and whatever it is. So the bank people will allow only one person inside the room at once. So once this person enters into the room, what the bank people will do? Does bank people will go along with them? Nobody will go. Only that person will be allowed. Then that person will open the lock and he will do the task. By the time what will happen? The door will be closed. The security person will close the door. Yes or no? So then one thread is accessing. Therefore, other thread is in the queue and that situation is locked. This is called as a locking technique. When the door will be opened? When this first person, when, okay, I use a different colors for different persons. When this first person's task is over, this person will come out of the room. Then this door will be opened. So then the lock is released for new thread to access. Then the new thread enters into the bank. So once this lock got released, once this is released, then this person will go and visit the locker. He or she will open their own lock, not the previous person lock. Okay. So then once this person goes into the room or locker, again the security person will lock the door. Then that's called as a locking technique. So that comes with a synchronization, which is for string buffer. Understood? So with this, I will stop for the day.